Hello and welcome to the Music Shack Podcast. This is episode number 63. This week you're joined by myself, Bruce.
Ron.
And Ed, sorry for the extended break. Break went on for a week longer than I was expecting it to. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great holiday. And
Let's get right into it.
yep.
Let's talk about some music. So starting off with a album by Dance with the Dead called Driven to Madness. It is dance electronic. It is...
I don't even know if I would call it dance electronic.
Yeah, it sounded metal.
It was very like thrash.
Yeah, there was a bunch of that in there.
I liked it though.
Yeah, it was very
I thought
good.
it was very good.
My two favorite songs off of this album were Hex and Sledge.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it helps that they're right next to each other, but just the way Hex ran throughout its entire play, whew, good shit.
Yeah, it was. It kicked off with March of the Dead, and I started. It had the theatrical effect to it of an actual march, and then I heard guitar, and then I heard chugs, and I was like, okay, this says electronic. Where are we going? And then it started getting into a full structure, and I was like, okay, this just sounds straight up metal.
Yeah.
And then I hear the electronic behind it. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. I was very pleased.
Yeah, I was like freestyling metal vocals after I realized that there was no vocals. I said, oh, okay, fuck it.
Ah.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be that.
Yeah.
I saw Dance with the Dead, and it's electronic, and I said, okay, this is going to be like dark and creepy.
Yeah. I was expecting some like graveyard style shit.
Right.
Well, Gravedigger style shit. Like because of the name, because of the album art, and because it said electronic. I was not expecting electronic metal.
Yeah, I was very pleased with it. I think I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to. And next to mine, I think it's probably my favorite one out of the group. Although I liked all three. But very very pleasant surprise. Solid track listing, good pacing. Nothing felt too long, nothing felt too short, and it all flowed concisely. And I could tell where one started and one ended, and where the next one picked up. So I thought it was just very good. And a lot of the structure was, the structure itself was pretty good throughout each song too. I very much enjoyed it. And we can move into a slightly different genre, only a little bit. And then we can jump right into Ed's then, and then we'll go to mine.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna jump from metalish electronic to some K-pop. Not much of a jump.
Just slightly on the other side.
Yeah, so I recommended Eric Nam's There and Back Again. I personally enjoyed it. Yeah, just another highly well-produced K-pop album, but very good songs. So
yeah, this was actually pretty good. When the first song kicked off, I was like, okay, it's a little slow, a little basic. In terms of like how the instrumental went, but then I think it was the chorus. As soon as he hit the chorus, it picked up a little bit, and there was more stuff thrown in as flavor. And I was like, okay, I can get with this. And I just once it got going, that's pretty much what it was. It was like all these different little flavor parts thrown in throughout the whole thing to make it feel more, make it feel fuller. And I actually like that about it, for what it was supposed to be. And it's K-pop. You usually think it's like a little more fast-paced, a little more hyperactive. This was not.
yeah,
But it had the same. It almost had the same energy, just in a different way. And I think that was nice.
yeah, but yeah, I'm one of those people. I never actually saw myself getting into K-pop. And the more I've been exposed to the genre, the more I fucking enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's also one of those cases where it's like, if it's a genre that's kind of difficult to get into, which is for the most part all of them, you can't really start with what people think is mainstream.
yeah.
The way to do it is you find what you like in it and get accustomed to it, and then you start listening to other parts of it and get a feel for different aspects of the genres, and like, you know, which is more rooted, which is, you know, in metal's case, which is heavier, and find your vein of what you like.
I mean, honestly, finding your own sound is a lot better than being an imitation.
Exactly. And I say
'Cause-
imitation is the best form of flattery, but in some cases, I don't think that's true.
You can imitate somebody, but you're going to have a shorter career.
Right.
Unless, of course, you're imitating Elvis Presley on, you know, on the Vegas Strip, then, you know, you're a dime a dozen. But, you know, but for whatever reason, people still pay to see you. But that's weird, but okay.
It's then people almost see you as a tribute at that point to something, and it's like,
I mean,
that's not what everyone's trying to go for either.
I mean, there's one thing to be a tribute band, but you got people who claim to be themselves, but are trying to sound like other people. It happens a lot in rap. A lot of people want to be Future or want to be Drake, and they don't realize that Drake is Drake because he has his own sound. Future is Future because he has his own sound.
I think another good example is Greta Van Fleet,
Yeah,
because they sound a lot,
like Zeppelin.
yeah, they sound a lot like Zeppelin, and they're like, we're not trying to go for that. And whenever I hear them, I'm like, okay, it just sounds like Zeppelin.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you like saying that you're not trying to do that because you just want to like hide it, or you just like, you're so rooted in that style of the genre that you're pigeonholing yourself and not really finding a way to break it. I don't know, cause like it's weird.
I mean, when you have a vocal sound, it's hard to break that. You know,
Yeah.
When you find your voice, it's hard to break away from that voice. And the lead singer, Greta Van Fleet, sounds like the lead singer from Zeppelin. And the instrumental doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. They sound exactly the same.
I feel like that if there was a difference in instrumentals, maybe then people would hear his voice and go, his voice sounds like Zeppelin, but the band doesn't.
Right.
And I think that would help them be separated.
Right. I feel like that would be a good point. Like or just trying to innovate on it, you know, like add your own twist to it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good way to distinguish too, if you're gonna do the similar thing as someone else. To me, I don't hear that out of them. So, but, and we can go ahead and segue into mine, because I think that point's wrapped up.
Very much so wrapped up. And very much so off the topic of the album that we were talking about, but
Yes, but it was, you know, came up in conversation.
yep.
So I gave you guys Infected Rain's new record, which is called, I believe it's Ecdysis. And I don't know what... I want to say it's metalcore, because that's where the root is. But I don't know if I want to call it just that. Because there's groove to it.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that is for sure.
I love her vocals.
See, I didn't think you were going to.
Like, cause it's different. Like, it does sound straining on the voice. At least from my perspective, anytime I've attempted to scream in that style, I've strained my voice. Or started to feel the vocal cords not like me. But yeah, her scream sounds like it'd be hard on the voice, but then again, a woman's scream is going to sound different than a man's scream.
Right.
So I imagine her higher pitched screams aren't as taxing.
It sounds. It kind of said to me. I'm no expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But to me, it sounds almost like a fry. That has more true chord tonality to it.
Yeah.
Which, if you can balance that correctly, your vocal cords will be fine. Or if you just have like a lot of rest in between. But I like I said, I honestly didn't think you were gonna like it, based on that. But like everything that I heard, I was like, "Ooh, this is good." So.
I think it was because I'm not used to hearing a female vocalist utilize her voice in the way that she did on this album. Maybe that's what changed it for me. But like before I heard her sing cleans, I was like, oh, okay. Alright, these are some high-pitched screams. It sounds taxing. And then when she was singing clean, I was like, oh, it's a woman. Okay. And her cleans are beautiful. Like, on top of her fucking screams, which are, up there in tier, if you ask me. But I'm no expert on metal.
Yeah, I actually like this a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I went through a couple different records to see what I could find. And I found a couple things that were okay. I was like, okay, maybe I'll give these a listen. And then I went to this one, and I was like, okay, this has something that the others don't, and it's more of a flavor thing, but it makes it sound more complete to me. And I was like, this is I like the structure and I like the sound. I want to hear more of it, so I listened to the rest of it. I was like, okay, I think this is what we're gonna use. This is what we're gonna talk about. And it's so creepy in a way. And then you have just the pacing itself. It's kind of slow, and that's okay. But it does hit very hard in the right spots. Like there's a breakdown that I was like, oh. This is, they took that distortion pedal and pitch shifted it just a little bit, and it got even darker. And I was like, okay, this is good. So, it's very well done in my opinion. I liked Longing and I liked Goodbye. Those were probably two of my standouts. But I also did like These Walls. So, it's almost an hour. For 12 songs, but it's very good. So, then I think technically there was a single that released when this came out, which was the Falling in Reverse single, which was Zombified, which is just fantastic. I did not think they were gonna top Popular Monster, but I think they did, ever so slightly. But I think they did. So, it's... Ronnie Radke is literally gonna... I think he's gonna take over... not take over, but I think he's going... Falling in Reverse is gonna rise to even more prominence than they are already at. If they keep in this direction. Because they're getting... really... really deep into emotions. They're getting a lot more serious in tonality and just harsher in they're getting more intensity, and Ronnie's getting a little bit more aggressive, it seems. Excuse me, and I'm very much here for it. And his cleans are just immaculate. He's gotten so much better at singing cleans than he was in the past. Granted, he was still pretty good, but he's just gotten so much better at it. And I'm ready for an album, which I know is coming at some point. Just they have not announced it yet. So, looking forward to it, though.
Oh, man. I was just peeking ahead.
Yeah.
I got some decisions, bro.
So do I.
I got some decisions.
So do I.
I got some names that if Bruce doesn't say them, woo, baby.
Yeah, I'm looking at releases that were on the 14th that I have not gone through yet. And there are things that I am excited.
There's stuff and things.
One of which I already went through, and I want to give you guys, but with the genre it is, I'm not going to do it. So, but there are like two more that I have to go through.
It's been cold outside, Okay, and for whatever reason, metalcore to death metal has been my drift. So
This is heavier. This is more than death metal. This is black metal. So I'm just not gonna do it.
yeah, I tend not to go that far.
Yeah, which is why I'm not. It's why I'm not gonna give it to you guys.
Yeah.
But it's such a good album.
All right. We can move on to our break, and when we come back, we will be talking about the Billboard charts.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to start a podcast? Buzzsprout makes it really easy. Get your show listed on every major podcast platform with little hassle. You will join over 100,000 other podcasters already using Buzzsprout. You'll get a really good website with audio widgets you can use on other websites, tools to help you promote your show, detailed analytics, and more. Follow the link to get started. It'll let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. If you sign up for a paid plan, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card, and you'll be directly supporting us here at Music Shag Pod. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to get a podcast out there.
And we're back. So, I'll start us off looking at the Artist 100. Adele's still at number 1. Taylor Swift is still at number 2. Ed Sheeran is still at number 3. Olivia Rodrigo is still at number 4. Doja Cat is still at 5. The Weeknd is still at 6th. Dua Lipa is up 3 spots to 7. Morgan Wallen is up 4 spots to 8. Luke Combs is up 6 spots to 9 from 15.
Yeah.
And Drake is up 7 spots to 10. No movement at the top
And did you refresh the page?
6. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. No. I just went under it again. So like.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah. So no movement in the top 6.
Oh, I got a lot of movement.
Dua Lipa's still climbing. I don't know what she did or what she came out with, but her shit's still climbing. Remember she like jumped ridiculously last week?
Yeah.
Like,
And then she fell off the chart.
well, she was off the chart until last week, and then
Yeah.
just boom.
That's what I'm saying. Like she was up there in the top 10 for a little while, and then just fell off the chart, fell out of the top 10 for the longest time, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden she's creeping back up now.
And last week she went from like, I think it was like 27th to 10th.
Yeah.
Like, what
weird.
the fuck? All right.
But so for the Billboard 200, we have the Encanto soundtrack up to number 1. Last week it was at 7. Adele went down to number 2 at 30. Morgan Wallen jumped up to 3 from 5 with the double album. Olivia Rodrigo stayed at 4 with Sour. Taylor Swift went down to 5 from 3 with Red. Drake went from 11 to 6 with Certified Lover Boy. Doja Cat went from 15 to 7 with Planet Her. The Weeknd went from 13 to 8, with the Highlights. But apparently he just dropped something new.
He did. I was not a fan. I was excited because I am a fan of The Weeknd.
Right.
Was not a fan of, I believe it was Drive FM. I believe was his new
I think
album.
so.
I will check
think
that
so.
out while we carry on.
Juice WRLD went from 12 to 9 with Fighting Demons, which is that new posthumous record for him. I'm going to check it out because I'm very curious, because Legends Never Die was great. So I'm curious how this sounds. And Polo G jumped from 20 to 10 with Hall of Fame. So we had a lot of movement this week on the 200 chart.
Yeah, I do enjoy Polo G's music. It was Dawn FM.
Yeah.
So,
All right. I'm looking at the Billboard Hot 100. Easy on Me by Adele is at number 1 from 2 last week. Stay by the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber is at 2 from 6 last week. Then we've got Heat Waves by Glass Animals at 3 from 7. Shivers
love
by
that
Ed
song.
Sheeran at 4 from 9. We Don't Talk About Bruno by... It's time to show all the names. Carolina Gayton, Mario Castillo, Adassa, Renzi Feliz, and Diane Guerrero. Up to 5 from 50.
Oh, okay.
That's a big jump. Industry Baby by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow is up to 6 from 12. Cold Heart by Elton John and Dua Lipa, the PNAU remix, is up to 7 from 20. Bad Habits by Ed Sheeran is up to 8 from 19. Need to Know by Doja Cat is up to 9 from 14. And Super Gremlin by Kodak Black is up to 10 from 16.
I actually got some news related to Kodak.
Oh, do tell.
It's actually a mix of hockey news, too. You know, my favorite sport. So, what is it? So, at a Florida Panthers game, Kodak Black was there with a female friend. They went from ringside up to their box suite. While Kodak Black was in his box suite, they just so happened to turn the camera to him, like showing the celebrities in attendance. And the woman was twerking on his lap. And everyone in the stadium and some people, part of the staff, thought that they were in the middle of having sex. So, like, there was, like, an investigation, and they found out he was just getting a lap dance in the box. So...
And I remember hearing this, but I don't know if it was true or not, but wasn't it that he thought the windows were tinted, but it was just that he was still wearing his sunglasses?
Probably. No, with him, probably.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, we talked about some stuff that happened last week involving him in a break-in on New Year's. Oh, and I actually do got some Young Dolph news. That I have to look up. I'm not as familiar. I did not read as much. Well, my mind is not retaining as much from the article as it did with the Kodak Black twerking thing.
Yeah, that's
right.
That sounds that only I feel like it's only rappers that get the dumb shit happen to them. That we hear about anyway.
Rappers are somehow big enough celebrities for it to happen. I feel like dumb shit happens to everybody.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But because of how high the popularity is with rap right now,
that's just all we hear about.
That's all we hear about, yes. Like, I'm sure crazy shit happens with, like, metal artists and other industries.
Oh, probably.
Because you got human beings in every industry. Human beings are going to be wild.
Define human.
A human being is a member of the Homo sapien species.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test.
Mine as well, because I can't speak English anyway. But yeah, anywhere where you're dealing with human beings can be weird and unusual, like this podcast. Goddamn humans. Anyway, so they have 3 people facing charges in Young Dolph's murder.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did they name who? Or did they just have 3 people?
Alright, so they got this Justin Johnson. He's 23 years old, known as Straight Drop. They got him on January 11th in Indiana. Another guy, Cornelius Smith.
Cornelius.
Yes. 32 years old. He was already in custody in Mississippi, but was indicted in Shelby County on several charges, in this case including first-degree murder.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah. They didn't list the other one. They said that they have three members, but looks like there's no listing on the second. Oh, another man identified as Shundale Burnett, who was originally from Memphis but lives in Dallas, faces charges of accessory in the role he played in helping Johnson, officials say. Barnett was a passenger in the vehicle driven with Johnson when he was captured. He's also being held in Clay County, Indiana, and he's supposed to be extradited to Memphis.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So yeah, they're facing attempt to commit first-degree murder, theft of property from 10,000 to 60,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they said that they received more than 500 tips after the announcement of a reward. But I imagine that they probably would have received tips anyway because of
young Dolph's like
influence in that community.
Right. I feel like as soon as that was announced, they just jumped on it.
Yeah. Like I knew that when they were talking about what Dolph did for the Memphis community, I said, yeah, these guys aren't going to be on the run for long.
No, somebody will find out.
Yeah. They're going to wind up dead or in jail. And luckily for them, the cops got them.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But who knows who they're going to run into in jail.
Right.
But, yeah.
Well, hey, at least they're getting closure on that, it seems.
Yeah.
That's good. Which didn't seem like it took that long either. It's been a couple months.
Again, Dolph was a good person.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it's only been a couple months, I think, since that happened. So
and it happened broad daylight.
Right. So someone had to have seen it. Like
you cannot be an Al Capone in today's world. There's cameras everywhere. People carry cameras in their pocket. You're gonna be seen. Unless people, unless you're in some place where people are gonna look the other way.
Which was not the case for this one.
No, because of who it was.
Right.
Like I'm sure if someone who's a pillar of the community in Philadelphia winded up getting shot, I assume that people would be like, yeah, I know who did it.
Right.
Versus now when a drug dealer gets shot, or I don't understand how innocent people get shot in Philadelphia and people don't speak up. That I don't. I understand there's a fear to it, but at the same time, it's like. Anyone else got news?
I actually got two things actually.
Since that took a real dark turn.
Ed Sheeran wants to build a crypt on his private estate.
Good for him.
That's not ominous at all.
Yeah, I heard some rumors that he wanted to get into metal. So building a crypt.
Is he going to play something similar to Cannibal Corpse?
I hope not. I seriously hope not.
No, I think he plans on being featured on somebody's new album.
Honestly, I want to see Post Malone feature on a metal song somewhere.
I'd love to see him do it because that's what he wants to do.
Well, that and fun fact is that not only does he play Magic the Gathering, which I find amazing, he was supposed to in high school. He was in a metal band, and then he went to audition for Crown the Empire. And he didn't get it only because his guitar string broke in the middle of the audition. But he is best friends with the lead singer of the band.
No shit.
To this day.
Oh, goddamn.
So, knowing that...
There's a potential for a Crown the Empire
Post Malone crossover. I'm hoping that happens at some point.
Steve Aoki, he actually strained his voice performing with one of his favorite metal bands.
Well, not to mention we have the Post Malone Ozzy Osbourne thing, which I think was a total publicity stunt.
Yeah.
But if that was able to be done, imagine what he could do with an actual metal group.
Yeah.
Of today's standards, now I want to see it.
Yeah.
So.
I think it'd be interesting to hear people cross over. I would love to hear more people cross genres.
Yeah.
While I'm not a fan of Post Malone, I respect the fact that he jumps genres and does whatever the fuck he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He wants to make a country album. He's going to make a country album.
Yeah.
If he wants to make death metal, he's going to make death metal. He doesn't care. And I love that about him. Even though I'm not a fan of him, I'm a fan of the way he works.
It's one of those things where it helps you realize that you don't have to stick to one kind of music to make.
Yeah.
Like everyone thinks, oh, you make metal, you can only make metal. You can make whatever music you want. It's just people tend to stick to one thing because it's what they're really good at.
That and people are afraid of losing their fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Because you gotta feed the fans. So people, I drifted away from Bring Me the Horizon when they started making popish music.
But everybody can agree that Ammo was bad.
Yes.
Like, they did that.
I wasn't going to say the name of the album because it's a stain on my conscience.
Like, they dropped Ammo, and props to them for trying something else. Nobody liked it. And where they've gone since, I think, is a good way to, like, react to it.
Yes.
You can use elements of it, just don't do straight up that.
Yes.
But yeah, so I don't have any news at the moment, but we could just segue over into upcomings that are dropped that we're going to look at.
Recently dropped.
Yes, recently dropped. Bruce, you start us off.
All right. This. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Ads in the way.
Oh, of course.
On the 14th of January, Cat Power dropped covers.
Cat Power.
Yes. And over to Ed.
Damn.
What a list.
What a list indeed.
Over to Ed. Holy shit. I was.
Ed was not ready.
No. I was waiting for there to be more. All right.
So was I, honestly.
Yeah. So Corday dropped From a Bird's Eye View. Lumineers dropped Bright Side. FKA Twigs dropped Capri Songs.
Yeah, Capri Songs.
All right. Gunna dropped Drip Season Forever. I do see the album that Bruce mentioned. Let's see.
That's, yeah.
Lil Wayne dropped Sorry for the Wait.
Is he, though?
Probably not. I'm still interested to hear it. Earl's Sweatshirt.
Earl's Sweatshop. Yeah.
Yeah. Earl's Sweatshirt dropped Sick. Jamestown Revival dropped Young Man. Excision dropped Onyx. DJ Python dropped Angel EP. Casting Crows dropped Healer. Ant Clemens dropped Foreplay EP. DVR dropped Dirty Tapes EP.
Is that it?
Subtronics dropped Fracticals. Digital Ivan dropped Flux Tracks EP. I'll just try to figure out which one of these is on your list and not on your list. Alright, yeah, that'd be it. There's a few that I was going to read, but I'm like, they're probably on Ron's list.
Alright. Yeah, and a list do I have? Because there's a lot that dropped on the 14th of January.
On to the Scandinavian disease list. Doctor, what do I have today?
Not even, really.
Wow, that sounded racist. Let me not.
There's not that many weird ones on here.
I apologize. Jesus.
So we have Aetherius, I think it is, with, I believe it's pronounced Leiden or Leiden. We have Arise from Worms with a self-titled EP.
Arise from Worms?
Worms.
Okay.
Autumn's Child dropped Zenith. Belfager dropped 2 re-releases of The Last Supper and Blut Sabbath. We have Big Scenic Nowhere that dropped The Long Morrow. Breaths dropped Though Life Has Turned Out. Buffalo Revisited dropped Volcanic Rock Live, so a live record. Descent dropped Order of Chaos. Earthless dropped 3 re-releases. They dropped a re-release of Sonic Prayer, Rhythm from a Cosmic Sky, and From the Ages. Ecryptus, which came out with an EP titled, I'm going to try my best with this, Kiram Besgargum. Yeah.
So actual Scandinavian disease, I hear.
Yeah, it's something like that. Electromancy came out with Technopagan. Just broke Ed with that one.
I might have to listen to that.
Eliminator dropped Ancient Light. Enterprise Earth, who I know of, dropped The Chosen. Arab Altor with Vater Tinman. Fit for an Autopsy dropped Oh What the Future Holds, which I hear is phenomenal.
I seen that, and I did not want to read it aloud because I assumed it was on your list.
Yeah, I've heard that this is phenomenal. I'm going to have to go through it. Furus Ignis came out with Decapitate the Aging World. Hit the Ground Runnin' came out with a re-release of Sudden Impact. Lee McKinney with In the Light of Knowledge. Magnum dropped The Monster Roars. Maul came out with a self-titled record. Nullification dropped Kingdoms to Hovel. Oceans dropped Hell is Where the Heart Is Part 1 Love EP. Oshiego dropped I believe it's spelled with a J. I believe it's some sort of I think it's Halhalut, something like that. Don't know exactly how it's pronounced. Out of This World dropped a self-titled. Party Cannon dropped Volumes of Vomit.
What the fuck?
Pride Lands dropped Light Bends.
Now, quick question.
Okay.
Is it one of those bands where their screams sound like...
I have no idea.
Okay.
Shadow of Intent dropped Elegy, which is what I wanted to give you guys, but because it's black metal, I'm not going to. But I love it. It's phenomenal.
Quick question. Who dropped Technopagan?
What that it was Electromancy.
Okay, sorry.
Skillet dropped Dominion, which I'm so ready to go through. But it doesn't look like the whole track listing is available right now, at least in the US, last I checked. So it's a little weird. About to check again. Slow Bleed dropped A Blazing Sun, The Fiery Dawn. Space Coke dropped Lunacy.
Space Coke?
Space Coke.
Yeah,
Dropped
nice.
Lunacy.
Yes. Yep.
I imagine Space Coke would cause lunacy, because Earth Coke causes some crazy shit.
Spartan dropped Of Kings and Gods. Tony Martin dropped Thorns. I believe this is pronounced Tundra, but it's spelled T-O-U. So I believe it's just Tundra, but spelled differently. They came out with Hex. Tristan Harder's Twilight Theater dropped Drifting into Insanity. There was a various artist compilation album called Dominance and Submission, which is a tribute to Blue Oyster Cult. That's pretty cool. Verbum came out with Exhortation to the Impure. Voodoma came out with Hellbound. Weaponry with Ever-Winding Slaughter. Bruce, help me out with this next one. 'Cause I don't... I'm going to say it and I'm going to ruin it, and I don't want to try to do that.
Which one am I looking at?
Underneath Weaponry. I have an idea, but I don't want to say it.
I'm going to say Weege Dude? There's always blood at the end of the road.
Yep, that one. Wolf Bastard came out with Hammer of the Bastards. I knew about that one coming out.
Okay.
Worm Shepherd came out with Chalice of Rebirth.
What is with these worms?
I don't know. Wrong War came out with Once Upon a Weapon. And then XC3, which is all Roman numerals. I don't know what the C is in Roman numerals. I don't know what number that stands for.
I think that's 100. Or not, the X is 100.
Is it?
No, the X
No,
is 10.
the X is 10. I don't know what the C is.
I think the C is 100.
I don't know. They came out with Void. And that is my list.
Okay.
So there are a few on here I'm gonna have to look at.
Alright, so since we were going to do this last week, but I mean it did happen last week, but we didn't record last week. What is the the albums last year that you've went back to the most?
Well, I know Ed's. So you can go ahead and say that so we can address the elephant in the room.
Alright, I will put that one last, and I'll go over the other albums I kept going back to this year. Some of them were dropped prior years, but have been just on replay this year. Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia, Black Bear's Everything Means Nothing, I believe was the name.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. RTJ4.
I forgot that was last year, wasn't it?
Yep. Gravedigger dropped 6 Feet Under.
That's still a good one.
Yeah. Let's see. Architects dropped For Those That Wish to Exist.
Yep.
The album I've been obsessed with since it dropped.
With good reason.
Yeah. Zoo's forget the exact name of it, but Zoo's album that they dropped this year was absolutely phenomenal and has been on repeat. It's Dreamland 2021. But to get to the album that I have the most issue with because of where it was placed or where it was not placed was J. Cole's The Off Season. I read one too many articles that did not give this album the credit it deserved. I listened to the albums that were on the list. Yes, they were good. They weren't up to this caliber.
I would have to agree.
So, I say y'all got it wrong. Shout out to Tyler Creator. Congratulations. But I think they got it wrong. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Otherwise, I'm going to get loud. And if I get loud, it's going to ruin the recording.
I kept going back to Architects for a little bit.
Yeah.
I also went back to Atreyu.
Okay.
Because I think it's Baptize. I loved that one. So yeah, I also went towards While She Sleeps because of Sleep Society.
There we go.
It's another masterpiece that came out right around when Architects did. And it has the same energy. And it's not as heavy.
No.
But it has the same energy, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two specific breakdowns that I feel are too short. Because it's just straight nasty guitar riffs. And I'm like, there needs to be more of that. And every time they come on, it hits just as hard as it did the first time. I also went to Sleeping with Sirens because How It Feels to Be Lost, I think is just such a good blues-esque metalcore record that I want to see more groups do that. And it's weird because a lot of the groups that started early in the early 2000s with metalcore, like Sleeping with Sirens and all them, do start mellowing out and going in that direction, and it doesn't work too well. But they did such a good job at it. And Kellen Quinn, I love Kellen's voice. It's phenomenal. So, and just the amount of groove that is in each song, and the amount of emotion that you can feel just from the instrumentals themselves are fantastic. Even the stripped versions of some of the songs on the deluxe edition. And then they released Bloody Knuckles, which was a single, little afterward, which is just as good. So I went back to that too, and I love it. I think there's so many groups that came out with new stuff in 2021 that I think are going to hit the ground running again. In terms of like, returning groups, and then there's newer stuff that has just been phenomenal. So it's definitely was exciting. I'm curious to see what 2022 is going to bring in the same regards.
Yeah.
What about you, Bruce?
Some of the albums I went back to the most. I went back to Manifest by Amaranth. Nice and heavy there.
Mm-hmm.
Went back to Father Shadow by The Unguided.
That's a good one.
I've actually gone back to some older stuff by Beyond the Black. I listened to Heart of the Hurricane by them a lot. I went back to Versatile by Pop Evil a couple of times.
That's another good one that I feel like went under people's radars.
It's one I always forget about, and then it just pops up on my feed, and it's just good to listen to every once in a while.
I always forget about Pop Evil, and then I hear a song by them, and I go, "Oh my god, this band's good." And then I forget about them.
Yep.
And then I hear another song by them, and I go, "Oh my god, this band's good." I gotta actually check them out. That's on my goal of things to do this week.
Yeah.
Is to check out Pop Evil's catalog.
And they're kind of mainstream, kind of not.
Yeah.
Like they're there, but they don't have as much prominence. And if they keep going the way they're going, I think they're gonna be.
Oh yeah.
And then one of the last albums that I would go back to the most was Spectra by Chipsell. Just pure chiptune magic. Something I've listened to for years. And I just love this album so much.
Yeah, I found myself going back to a lot of Fall Out Boy. And Mike Shinoda a lot too. But yeah, there's so many things that I have as my defaults, like Hollywood Undead, or Motionless in White and stuff like that. Avenged Sevenfold even. Like I've been on them. There was a point where I was on an A7X kick for whatever unknown reason, or my black metal kick. So I was listening to a lot of Shadow of Intent and stuff of that nature.
You just said I went on A7X kick for whatever reason.
It's an unknown reason. I just did it.
Other than that, they're fucking good.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a given.
That's a very good reason.
Still waiting for that album. I know they have it. I know it's done. They're just waiting. Just waiting for that to drop. Because the minute that drops, that's what you guys are getting, regardless of what else there is. So yeah, no, there's just a lot that I go back to, and there was a lot that came out last year that has just been phenomenal. So 2021 was a good year for music in general, not even just metal, or not just for one singular genre. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork again because things are opening. There's a bit more leeway, and people are able to get into the studio. So
Yeah.
very, very excited.
Hopefully, 2022 will be a closer step towards normalcy, if not a full step towards normalcy.
I think we're gonna get there.
Because
I don't want to get political on here, but
yeah,
I have seen some articles, and I've seen some statistics that say that point towards a normal-esque society again. So I'm hoping we get there, and I think we will.
okay.
So I think that about does it for episode 63 of the Music Shack podcast. So yeah, as always, anybody who's returning, thank you for returning and listening to our spiel every week. And if you're new, thank you for tuning in for your first episode. If you liked it, please hit subscribe on YouTube and find us on all the other platforms, major platforms anyway, minus Pandora, and follow us there. And keep an ear out each week to see when we drop an episode.
Follow us over on Twitter if you want to try to get some updates right from there.
Which we need to jump on.
Over at Music Shack Pod.
Yes, we need to start doing that.
Yes. One that we are looking at.
Look, yeah, I know. If I could schedule the tweets from my phone, I need to find the app that I could do that with. I can do it on my computer, but
just
you should
post
be able to do
tonight
it.
that the episode's going to drop tomorrow.
Yeah, like when you go home, do that.
Yeah. And don't even give a specific time. Just be like,
It's
it
dropping
will drop
this-
tomorrow.
yeah.
I could just do that right now.
Yes, you could do that right now.
Might as well do it. So yeah, like I said, thank you guys again. If you're new, hi, welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out the rest of the catalog, and we hope to see you next week for more music to talk about.
Yes.
So enjoy the noise.
You're, and as always, player, one love, mosh and rage responsibly. You know.
Just have fun.
Yeah, I would let Bruce get the final word, but
We're not gonna do that.